So, for the bear claws, you need to use a Danish dough, and a Danish is a very specific type of dough. It's usually very difficult to make, very time-consuming, but I've got a way to do it. It's very simple, it's foolproof, it's delicious.
This sounds like an infomercial. Keep going.
But you have to say,
I'm buying.
oh, wait, could I make that at home? For our pastry, for the bear claws, for the Danish pastry, you remember before we put in the yeast with a little bit of the milk?
Yes.
And see how it's bubbling up like that?
Yeah.
You want it to do that. Then we're adding some egg yolk, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, some cardamom, and then we start working in flour until it becomes a soft, pliable dough. You remember we had some yeast in here, so it is leavened with yeast, leavened meaning that it's going to rise with yeast. But it also, with Danish dough, traditionally you've got a layer or two or three of butter. But usually the way you do it is you put the butter in, you have to fold it, it goes in the refrigerator for a while, then back out, and you do that a bunch of times. It takes a huge amount of time.
Vigorous pantomiming from you.
So what I've
Did Marcel write this recipe?
This method, we've got frozen butter, we've got a frozen cheese grater, or it's just a very cold grater.
Yeah.
And you grate some butter on, and then you fold it sort of like a book. You don't really fold books. I don't fold books that way.
So.
If one were to fold a book that way.
That's the worst analogy he's ever made.
And then we roll it out, and then we do that again, and we do it very quickly while the dough's still cold. We're going to do that 3 times, put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. This is the point where our dough becomes a bear claw. We've got the dough that we refrigerated, we've got Paul's filling, lay it out in the middle like this, and then you fold it, very much like a book. And have you ever seen my library?
Again with the book.
Fold that over like that, and then flip it. Push the filling so it's evenly distributed. Then you want to refrigerate this for about half an hour. Once it's refrigerated, it's a lot firmer. And then you can cut your claws. Put some toes in there, and you stretch them out.
Coming together.
And you got a bear claw. And we've made
Big-ass bear claws.
big-ass bear claws.
Except they're nowhere to be found.
Well, you know, when you're in bear country, you just can't be too careful.
Oh, my.
Look at those.
right.
Those are monstrous.
Is it one for each of us?
Yes!
That's not going to be enough.
These are big-ass bear claws. Look
Wow.
at these babies.
We're watching a thin line between love and hate.
And we are making truffle in paradise. Because that's
Truffle
really what
in
love's all about. It should be paradise, but there's always a little truffle.
Our truffles, are
I
these
don't
going to be...
care what it's called. I'm excited that we're making chocolate.
You have to get high-quality chocolate. Don't skip on the chocolate. And there is a direct relationship between the price of the chocolate and what you get. If you want to look at the ingredients, make sure there's not a lot of vegetable oil in it. And then you want to, if you can look at it, the chocolate itself, it should be shiny. There should be no white spots. That means that it's re-emulsified. It's gotten warm in the store.
Should it contain lead?
No, I shouldn't have any letter. We have got chopped chocolate, chopped bittersweet chocolate. We've got some heavy cream, and very, very simple. Just add the cream to the chocolate.
No part of this isn't gorgeous. Look at these ingredients. Oh, I love it.
And before we stir it, just sort of let the warm cream sit on the chocolate for a moment. I don't use a wooden spoon when I'm working with chocolate because sometimes after you've washed a wooden spoon, it gets moisture in it. And you kind of want to keep water away from chocolate if you can. So just begin to stir it. I do it counterclockwise.
Oh, boy.
And just slowly, after about 45 seconds, a minute and a half, it's going to start looking like that.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
We made our mixture earlier with the chocolate and the cream. I put that in a piping bag, and I'm just making some dollops. You refrigerate them for a few minutes till they firm up a little bit, and then give them to 2 of your closest friends. And depending on how soft they are, you can sort of start to shape them into a pleasing shape, whatever's pleasing to you.
You know how perfect that is.
That's very nice.
Isn't that great?
While they're playing with their balls, I'm doing something different over here. I've got some water I brought to a boil, turned off the heat, put a bowl of chocolate over with no cream at all. Stir it until it gets smooth. And remember that when you're working with water and chocolate together, if even 1 drop of the water gets into the chocolate, it can seize instantaneously and actually solidify. If, heaven forbid,
That should happen.
that ever happens to any of you, remember.
Call 911?
No, keep some vegetable oil around, and you can just stir in some vegetable oil, and usually it'll smooth out. This is so much fun, and it's a great thing to do with some friends or anybody that you happen to be with. And what you can do is you take the truffle balls we made earlier, drop them in chocolate. You have one hand in the chocolate, one hand out of the chocolate. Go ahead.
Good, that's
And
going well.
then you can go into one of your coatings right here. This is untraditional here. I've got some, this is tea ceremony tea. This is also called matcha. It's got great flavor. And if you're gonna use the tea, or I've also got chili, you don't need to go on the chocolate first. You can go right into the tea, roll it around, and go to tbs.com, get the recipe. Just to recap, these are coated with green tea, these with ground chili, ground cocoa, coconut, and this chocolate on chocolate.
And hopefully you were paying attention during the show because they're so easy to make.
Yeah.
You'd be a fool not to make them.